Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda Ngugana and this is my channel Life of Curves. On this channel, I normally post plus size style and fashion tips as well as healthy body positive content. As always, it's always a mouthful to say my intro. Anyway, today's video is going to be a little bit different. As you can tell by the title, I'm not going to be talking anything fashion related, but it still has to do with the woman and the female body. Today's topic is basically all about birth control. I'm not going to go into depth and talk specifically about the types of birth control that there are or what you can do. You can definitely read up about that. If I do have a link to an article or a YouTube channel that does discuss that, I'll definitely link that down below, because educate yourselves, educate yourselves, educate yourselves. However, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my personal experience with one particular contraceptive method, which is the Depo, otherwise known as the 3-month injection. The full name is Depo Provera, if I'm not mistaken. So this in South Africa is available literally at your local clinics as well as private clinics. You can get this done at Dis-Chem or Clicks as well, which is like your local pharmacy. That's where I normally go. I normally go to Dis-Chem, and the first time I think they charge 350, and then thereafter you pay 60 Rand every time you come, which every time you start off on a contraceptive, just a small disclaimer, they always make you take a pregnancy test, because really some people want to go on some form of contraception but they're already pregnant, you know. So they make you pee in a cup, or they give you like a pregnancy test for you to go take, and then come back and show them that, okay, no, I'm not pregnant, or yes, I am pregnant. They check your blood pressure and also your weight, and then they inject you. The only thing that I would say personally from my own experience is that they never really give you in-depth detail unless you ask about what's going on with certain types of contraceptives. That has been my experience. So before I start to ramble, let's get into this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Okay, just to add another disclaimer to that disclaimer, my story, my experience is my experience, so I'm not saying that your experience will be exactly the same. However, from researching and reading about it online, and also talking to other women who have been using the same contraceptive as myself, I have learned that actually the side effects are quite similar, or they have similar but not the same stories to tell about what the 3-month injection did to their bodies. My personal advice: speak to a healthcare professional before you go and get any form of foreign thing put into your body. Actually weigh out your options and what works best for you. Don't, you know, just go and say, you know what, Amanda said this, so I'm going to use it. No, actually speak to someone who is a healthcare professional, get the proper advice. Or if you can't, go ahead and read up online. We all have phones, or we all somewhat, I want to believe, have access to a phone or the internet, whether you are at school, through the computer lab or whatever. So just go ahead and read up on it and find out what types of contraceptive methods there are out there, besides, like, you know, abstinence, which is the best, especially for teenagers, and also the condom, which in South Africa you can get government condoms, which is choice, I think it's government condoms, which are free. So you can find them at public clinics, you can find them at the libraries, in the toilets, literally you can find them anywhere. Even our local shop, which if you are like foreign or American, it's equivalent to a bodega. They give them out, like, here, you know. So you have no reason to not use. So basically my experience with the Depo started in Feb 2020. Basically I was in a relationship 3 years on and off, and at some point we decided, you know what, things are getting kind of tricky, why not go on some form of birth control? Fine, so I decided to go on a birth control. At first I started with pills. I tried that for a very short period of time. I think it was like 2 weeks, and I would forget constantly. Like, it was a constant thing where I was like, I can't do it. So I then decided, okay, let me go on the injection. A couple of friends of mine had already been on it, and they were like, yeah, like, I like it because I don't have to keep like, going back continuously. I know every 3 months I'm going for it. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I decided, okay, let me book an appointment. This can here come, blah, blah, blah. I went. They injected me, which by the way, random thing, but my arm hurt so bad. That was the sign that I should have never gone. Anyway, so I decided, let me go do this thing. Cool. I did not like it. I didn't have a major problem with it the first time around. My only thing was the mood swings, because they came in and they came in hot. Like, they were very bad. I was bitchy. I was rude. I was just annoyed all the time. So eventually I only did one round, so that's 3 months. After that time, I was like, I'm not going back on this. I need to just let this thing come out of my system, and I'll decide from then onwards, like, what am I going to do? What am I going to use? For me personally, an IUD was not an option because I just get creeped out by them, especially like, when, no. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Cool. I waited. Remember, COVID was like really, really high. I mean, not that it's gone, but it was like, everyone was on high alert last year with COVID, and there was a like lockdown basically throughout the world. And I started gaining weight. I started putting on weight, and I was at my heaviest. I was 102 kgs last year. So by December, end of December, I was like, okay, I need to do something about this. And I literally started like, watching what I eat, cutting back on certain things, not eating as much as I used to. And I started losing weight, and I felt good in my skin. I felt really nice. Like, I was like very happy with my body. I was very happy with how I felt on the inside. I was happy. I was just glowing. So by June of this year, I decided, okay, let me go back on the contraceptive. Let me give the Depo another try. Mind you, I'm not in a relationship. I'm not dating anyone. It was just for my own personal reasons at that time. So I'll go back on it within the same month. So last week I had my period, and then this week I get the shot injected into my body. The following month, I don't see my period at all. It's gone. I'm like, oh, okay, well, they did warn me that this would happen, so not a big deal. Cool. Okay, so within that like first month, my period is gone. I'm tracking how my body reacts to it, and I start to realize that, no man, like, the girl is hungry all the time. This woman is constantly looking for food or eating, and it just felt like I couldn't help myself. Like, every single time I saw someone with food, I would think to myself, make a mental note, either you're going to try that out or you're going to eat something similar to that later on. Like, I just had a very unhealthy relationship with food during this period of time. And this is now like June of this year. I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, you know what, just like, take a break, try not to like always focus on food and eating and whatnot. But then I started realizing that I'm craving and I'm eating things that normally I wouldn't eat at all, like things that they're not in my everyday diet, but all of a sudden I'm eating them. For example, donuts. I'm not someone who eats donuts on a regular basis. I don't even like, if I eat a donut, I'll have a cinnamon donut. But then I started realizing that I'm eating donuts with frosting on it. And I'm like, that's not even my thing. I don't even like those type of donuts. Like, why am I doing this? And coffee. I would be drinking coffee all the time. I'm not someone who drinks coffee. I'm green tea and water type of a person most of the time. If not green tea, rooibos, because that's the tea that my heart loves. So it was like very weird, like what was happening to me. So I just kind of like let it happen. I was like, you know what, let me just wait it out and see what happens to my body. Then I started realizing that, okay, no man, the girl is gaining weight, and every time I would step on the scale, the numbers were just escalating the whole time. Now remember, I went from 102 to now 90. I'm going back. I'm like, the numbers are going higher and higher and higher. I'm gaining weight. And this time it had an even worse effect on my body because my body started to jiggle. I'm inactive now. I'm not exercising as much as I used to because the fatigue has got me, which is another side effect of this. I'm constantly tired. That's how I felt at that period of time. Like, it felt like, basically guys, I felt like I was pregnant. I was craving. I had back pain, joint pain, any type of bodily pain you can think of. My breasts were so sore all the time. I even, no lie, I took like 2 to 3 pregnancy tests at some point because I was like, I must be pregnant. I'm not having sex, but I'm convinced I am the new age Mary. Something is happening with me because this is not it. So I was like, okay, you know what? Like, wait this thing out, but something's happening in your body and you're not understanding. I would cramp, guys. Like, I would have period cramps without a period. Does that even make sense? So from literally craving everything and always constantly eating and having a higher appetite than before, I started to realize, okay, the weight gain is coming back. My body isn't my body. I'm more jiggly. Even if I did exercise, like I just didn't feel like myself. Like my body did not feel like my body. I then started to realize other things like my skin. I started to break out. Other people use certain contraceptives because they have like acne or skin problems or whatever, but I've never been that type of person to have skin problems. I have been blessed with, I wouldn't say great skin, but good skin. And then all of a sudden I started having forehead pimples, and this would always happen when it would be like what's supposed to be the time of the month for me, but it wasn't the time of the month for me because there was no period. Then my skin would break out, but haba period, haba conics. Mentally and emotionally, let me tell you, I was effed up. I like from the previous year when I tried it in Feb 2020, the Depo just gave me mood swings, a little bit of an attitude. This time around in June 2021, it literally, yeah, then I'm straight. Like I was bitchy, I was rude, I was sad, I would cry. I'm a gangster, I don't cry. Why am I crying? And I'd cry over nonsense, or I'd just like talk to people and start tearing up. Like I spoke to my one friend and he was like, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. Why am I crying? I can't tell you. I don't have a reason why I'm crying, but in this moment I feel so emotional. Something has touched me. What? I don't know. So yeah, it just really effed with my emotions. Sometimes I'd be happy, then like 5 seconds later I'd be like, oh, you people, I hate you. Why are you in my life? Don't breathe next to me. Don't sleep next to me. Like, don't talk to me. I just wish I could be like alone in this planet. And then besides having like pregnancy symptoms and the mood swings, there was something else that was introduced to me. And that was something that was very foreign to me in general because I've never been this type of person, but I was constantly anxious. I would worry about every single thing, and I'd always like play scenarios in my mind and think that this would happen or it's going to happen. I had a constant fear of death or accidents, and I'm not sure if it's like directly linked to the Depo, but I was anxious, I was fearful constantly all the time. I can't even tell you why, but it was just one of those things where if someone in the house is like, okay, I'm going to the shop, I'm like, don't you want me to come with you? Because I just want to be around you. But it was like in my head and in my heart, I'm like, because I'm scared something might happen to you. Or I'm like, what? It was very crazy. And that's something that scared me because I'm not someone who constantly has dark thoughts or like very weird thoughts, but that's who I became while on the injection. Very fearful, very anxious, and paranoid basically all the time. The next thing that I'm going to talk about, which was one of my side effects, was how low my sex drive was. I'm not in a relationship, and in June of this year I was not in a relationship, but the way that it affected my body, the way that it affected my sex drive, the way that it affected just in general, like the way I feel as a woman, it was bad. My lady down there was so dry, guys. Like it was, she was not, she was dry. She was very dry. I had no desire to even like look at a man, talk to a man, be touched by a man, nothing like that. Like I was just like, I don't want anything. Like I want to be single for the rest of my life. Yeah, no, it was very bad. Like I can't even describe how bad it was in words because it was just like, take a sponge and then just like suck out all of the water and leave it like this. Doesn't make sense. Like it was just bad. No sex drive. So if you're in a relationship or you have a partner, that might F up like your relationship in terms of, does your partner understand what your body is going through? Because other women that I have like, you know, watched and like done research on with regards to like using the Depo have said that for them it was like their partners thought that they didn't want to have like sexual intercourse with them, or they didn't desire their person, but it wasn't like that. Like physically they just couldn't, and it just felt like they had to force themselves to get in the mood or to be like that, and they couldn't understand why. So it does have some sort of a link to the injection. Okay, and then my final side effect had to be hot flashes. I literally felt menopausal all the time. I had literally, like, I'll be chilling, it's hot outside, I'm wearing a tank top and maybe like shorts or jeans or whatever, and I'd start like, whoo, hey, whoo, in the winter, whoo, if it's raining all the time. That was constantly me, like, why is it all of a sudden so hot? I'm sweating, I'm heating up, and I don't understand why. It was because of the injection. So yeah, that's basically my experience with the injection. That's basically what I went through with the 3-month injection, otherwise known as the Depo. My advice to you would be actually do your proper research before you go on any form of contraceptive. Speak to a medical advisor, speak to a medical profession, know about why certain things are happening to your body. If you are already on it, if you haven't started it or you haven't been on anything, actually seek out or do your own relevant research as to what would best suit you, or the types of different contraceptive methods there are out there, and what you can use and what would better suit your lifestyle as a person, and why you would actually need to be using whatever it is that you are using. I do highly recommend abstinence if you are a teenager, but because of the world that we are living in, please use condoms. Condomize. Okay, so that is the end of this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Please check me out on Instagram at _lifeofcurves_. Also check out my Instagram boutique at thatstylishbabe. I am selling still a lot of the things that I've worn on this YouTube channel on my Yaga store. Yaga is like a sort of thrift store. So please check that out. I'll link that down below in the description box as well. And also check me out on TikTok. Come on now, guys, do the things that must be done. So yeah, anyway, as always, I'm always sending peace and love from my heart to you guys. You know I love you lots, like jelly tots. Until next time. Mwah!